Good evening and welcome to this week's Loose Linc. Thank you for joining us on this quite cold Tuesday evening. But join us as we have heated debate and also a very special guest on today's show. Join us. Hello, welcome to this week's Loose Linc. On the panel this week, the judges of all judges is Jay O'Connor.
Evening.
The Anne Robinson Queen herself is Rachel Penny.
Hiya.
The smiles of all smiles is Sam Hitwell. And
Hi.
keeping rule and recapitulation going is me, Nicholas Jones. As we talk about this evening, 5G has finally hit the network of mobile phones. Find out if we will be running to mobile phone shops to get this new 5G, or actually, are we just a bit bored of technology now? Find out what we think. Also, we've got a very, very special guest with us this evening, who we will be interviewing throughout the show this evening, and that's Rebecca Hearn, who is Miss Lincolnshire of 2021. Hi Rebecca, we'll be interviewing her and her whole experience on being Miss Lincolnshire. All that and a lot more on this week's Loose Linc. Evening, Polo!
Hello.
Right, so we're calling this show tonight The Loose Pageant. So, can you prepare yourselves for this evening panel? Mine cost an absolute bomb. I had to actually borrow it off the Queen. It took forever and a day to get here. It really did. Rachel, where's yours?
I'm trying to get it on in camera, but I wish you'd have done the one about warm weather clothing. I'd like a full face balaclava tonight. I don't think that does much good.
Oh, see, that looks good. And I've got to say, Jay, you've made such an effort. It's absolutely incredible, your crown.
Do you know what? It is what it is.
As we always start, we'll start with last week's polls. Can we just say thank you to the two people tonight who have stepped in, which is Rachel Penny and Jay O'Connor, because unfortunately Vicky Pearson and Anthony Walker couldn't join us this evening. I don't want to go into too much personal detail of Anthony Walker, but we do send him our biggest love and regards this evening, and hope that he is well. Lots of love from Loose Linc. We'll start with our polls of last week, as we always do. It's the only time in the show where I use my phone. So just excuse me while I get the polls up. New phone. That's part of the subject today, actually. New phone as well, so I'll be able to talk quite a lot about that. Right, so last week's polls were... in the new upcoming TV show encouraging fussy eating folk of Lincolnshire to apply for one of our hot topics on this week's show, are you a fussy eater? What is the one thing on your plate that you can't stomach? 47% of you said olives. 17% of you said fish. 17% of you said tomatoes. 10% of you said tripe. Is it tripe?
Right.
Yeah, tripe. Oh, I can't stand it. 3% of you said mushrooms. 3% of you said sprouts. And no percent of you said any veg at all, which really surprised me. I thought that was going to be the highest poll rating this week, any veg at all on your plate. But no, nobody voted that. And the other poll, we only put up 2 polls this week. The other poll was... the other poll was... Shockingly, there has been 154 assaults on Lincolnshire police officers since October 2020. We would like to know your thoughts on how to possibly overcome this happening again and again. 39% of you, which I'm not sure I completely agree with, say police should carry a taser gun. 39% of you also said more police needs to be on our streets. And 22% of you said appropriate punishment to the appropriate crime. I think I'm the latter. I think I'm the third one, really. But I am now going to explain why we've got these things on our heads. Rachel, you look absolutely bloody thrilled that you're wearing a tiara on your head.
I'm trying not to like Anne Robinson. I don't want to fit that criteria.
Welcome to the Loose Parlour. Why do I want to call it a parlour? The Loose Pageant. We will be celebrating who will be the winner of 2021 of the Loose Pageant this year. So join us as we go through our pageant show. And also we interview the most famous woman in Lincolnshire at the moment, and that's Miss Lincolnshire herself, who will be coming on to talk about how her experience of the pageant was in 2021. So panel, let's get on to topic. Now, before we get on to topic, I wanted to ask, how's the easing of lockdown gone for everybody? And has anybody ventured outside their house today? Go on, Jay, tell us.
It is crazy down here. There's queues outside pubs. There's been people waiting for up to 45 minutes to go and get their hair cut.
Oh.
It is, yeah. The high street today. I went out onto the high street to go and get my dog some dog food. It's crazy. There was just, you go from seeing nobody on the street for months on end to today, it was just packed.
Yeah.
I decided to stay nearer to home. I just popped out to Tesco's and B&M's today. That's it. I didn't go into town because I knew it was going to be havoc. So I was like, no, I ain't doing it. I'm just like, I'm not going to go into, I've decided I'm not going into town for a couple of weeks yet. Wait till it all dies down and then I will go.
Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Have you ventured out today?
No, I've been flat on my back having a massage today. I've had somebody come to me. So no, I haven't been. I haven't had a car today. Sorry.
I wondered where that was going.
No, massage to get me limbered up tonight.
All right, already. Well, actually, I think I've never really asked you, Sam. I think we're in the same town, aren't we? Are you Lincoln?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I had to venture out because I had a dentist appointment today, so I ended up going in the city, and I had to pick up from Her Majesty herself. The crown of all crowns today from Lincoln.
Well, I borrowed mine from my niece. I had to borrow this from my niece.
I can't wait to take it off. It's sticking right in my head here. It's right annoying. But I did go into town, and my word, Primark of all places. Really.
I heard that on the radio.
That's not me dissing Primark.
I'll tell you something about it. Last time we had the lockdown eased off, I was in town and there was like queues from Primark went all the way around the corner past HSBC, all the way down Guildhall Street, and I'm just like, I'm so glad I don't have to be in there today. I'm convinced to do it.
Same today. There was a queue that long for Primark, and there was a queue. I live near Rugby Road. If anybody lives this end of Lincoln, and there's the hairdressers on Rugby Road, and they were literally queuing all the way down Tesco's.
Really? Yeah, because Rugby Road's just around the corner from me.
It was quite ridiculous. And the thing is, I walked past our famous Bale in Lincoln, and obviously pub gardens have been open this afternoon, and today, and I was shocked really that I could say that I walked past quite a few pubs that were pretty well packed in the pub garden, but there was no like spaces of tables have just disappeared. Let's all cram in together. And everybody was just sat there, everybody. And I just thought, okay, we've gone into this pub opening, but we haven't stopped social distance yet. We haven't stopped all of that. I just couldn't wait to get home and lock the door, really.
But how crazy on a frosty Monday, to be in a pub.
I know. We are on a Tuesday.
Especially outside.
Oh, yes, Tuesday. Well, crazy anyway, isn't it?
I know, exactly. But we'll move on from that because we've got a lot to talk about this evening. So our first topic this evening is EE launches 5G in Lincoln and Grantham. EE has launched 5G in Lincoln and Grantham to give customers faster speed and greater capacity from the 8th of April. Over 35 cities which are getting connected to 5G network, including the East Midlands. So my first question to you, panel, is do you think that we are being taken over by technology? Do you believe the human brain is no longer worth anything and we are just becoming lazy?
I have to admit, I think for me, yes, because I use my phone. I call my phone my external memory because everything goes in my calendar, but otherwise I would forget it. So every appointment that I have and everything that happens in the house with any appointments for my daughter, it goes into my phone because I just don't remember it otherwise. And I have notifications that will, that reminds me like the day before and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I know I rely on my phone a lot, especially because my memory is so bad.
Jay, as a young person though, do you think you rely on, I only found out in the last week that Jay's older than me. I thought he was younger than me, he was older than me, and I won't let him forget that. But do you think as quite a young person, that technology is just becoming everything nowadays, or do you still try and veer away from it, or are you 100% technology?
Do you know what? I think our sort of generation, it hasn't really affected that much. Like, obviously, the advances in sort of technology have obviously helped us in our day-to-day, but it's like the younger generation that it's really benefited. Like, if you think about this pandemic thing that we've just been through and all the schools being locked down, a lot of the students now have been going to remote lessons.
My daughter's been like, she's in sixth form now, and she's been doing a lot of live lessons during the lockdown and everything. Yeah. And then obviously she went back into school. So the technology has helped my daughter do her schooling. Yeah, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, like I said, I think our generation is become a bit mind numbing, but I think the younger generation than sort of us, like, it's really helped and been, it's helped to advance them as a generation, I suppose. Don't really know what to say.
But do we? Because I know I tried to. So I went to see my mum the other week, and obviously I can only see her in the garden. But I went to see her, and it was the first time we'd seen her for a long time. And we were trying to talk about a TV program. I can't remember what TV program it was now. And we were sat there 2-3 minutes, and my mum went, "Oh, just let me Google it," and I just went, "No, let us use the power of our brains. Let's try and figure out clues. Let's try and," because I just feel like we just research everything nowadays. We don't, talking about it, I research every week for this show, but I feel we research more into everyday life nowadays more than
it's like the phrase I'll Google it. That is probably one of the most used phrases to do with technology that people use is, "Oh, let's Google it. Oh, Google will have the answer." It's become a phrase that everybody uses nowadays.
You don't remember it though when you Google it. I find you Google it, you find the answer, and then you've forgotten it.
True.
If you read the written word and research it yourself, it sticks in your head.
Do you try and do that, Rachel? If you're
So I
on it?
try. I haven't got any time, so I do Google it. I Google everything usually, but so that's why I look vacant half the time because I haven't remembered half of it. Yeah, but
You know, I think
too clever for me.
Go on, Jay. What was you going to say?
as someone, just as I didn't mean to interrupt them, but as someone that has health conditions, shall we say, I've been having to have a lot of video meetings with professionals and doctors and stuff like that. So I think it's becoming part of everyday life. I don't think it's hit us that hard, but I think it's almost a necessary evil these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like me and my daughter have a lot of appointments for the hospital and that. It's like my daughter next week has got an appointment with a geneticist, but it's going to be over the phone.
Yeah.
It's like, so, instead of going to Nottingham to see the geneticist, we're doing it over the phone. Whereas before COVID and everything, that wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that we're talking about then, Sam, is it's not, because obviously that's essential, but I'm more talking about like general knowledge, and when we're trying to figure out stuff. And I just feel that we all just we don't use this anymore, and I do fear that the power of the brain is just going to go because we just. Who's the actor in Coronation Street? There are other programs available, and we just Google it straight away. We don't try and think about it. And actually, if we Rachel, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but when you were a child, that wasn't an option. The power of the brain was.
Well, no, but also technology wasn't. I can remember my daughter; she knew a hell of a lot more than I did about computers, but now we are just quite as, au fait with them as they are. Well, probably not as good, but we've got another string to our bow because we can use technology now like we never could before, and so it's a different type of knowledge now.
Definitely. So moving on from that then, does technology scare you? Do you believe it's getting too big and maybe out of control?
Yes, does me. I was reading something a while ago saying that the internet is a sort of life form and it's already problem solving by itself, and there'll be a time, I bet you there'll be a time when you can't switch the thing off. It'll be it'll argue and it'll keep going whether we like it or not, and so I think it's getting too big.
Well, they're now even talking about, aren't they, robots replacing people? And I just think it's just that's just going too far now. We're already in a big recession where people are really struggling for money and all of that, but let's bypass all of that and get a robot that talks behind a counter at a hotel that checks you in. I just think you don't have that personal touch, and I just think our young people, if we're not careful on how we do this, our young people of maybe this generation will grow up not knowing how to communicate to one another, not knowing how to talk, not knowing. And we talk about, Jay, maybe you'll be able to speak a bit about this as well. We talk about mental health is such a massive thing and that we need to talk. But I think society is pushing into a corner of not talking.
I don't know. My opinion is that, you see, the internet and technology and stuff, I actually have quite a few apps on my phone because I've got a fairly significant string of mental health illnesses that I'm not shy to admit it. Yeah. But these type of apps that run on my phone are powered by the internet. And they can put me in touch with whoever it is I need to speak to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's
So I almost have to use it as a form of day-to-day. It's part of my life, part of my day-to-day life. I must admit that I'm a bit of a technology geek, so I can actually turn the lights off in my flat and the TV off and control my kettle and stuff like that using my Alexa.
That's just laziness, Jay.
It's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
a bit lazy.
Bit of control.
And see, I've got to admit, I've got an Alexa. But isn't it weird? Maybe I'm behind the times here, but no matter what, I think your phone is always listening, because no matter what I say, so if I have a conversation with somebody about it happens, and I've noticed it because obviously my phone is next to me all the way through Loose Linc. And I notice it because I talk about topics and then I see it. So what I'm trying to say is that I could have a conversation with somebody about, well, I'm thinking about buying a giant beanbag this week, and I want it on the cheap. I don't want it to be expensive. I can guarantee that my Facebook will be covered in adverts in beanbags. And whatever. And I've only noticed it because obviously we talk week in, week out about different topics about Lincolnshire and stuff like that. And I see advert after advert now about Lincolnshire and talk about this, and have you seen this news? And it's because this is sat right next to me all the way through the show. And I think it's getting to that point where it's starting to listen, and that scares me a little bit.
Can I just say that in my opinion, there is a major difference between the internet and social media. There is a big difference. Social media is almost a view into everybody's life. I avoid social media like the plague. The internet is there to give you information and help and support. Social media, in my opinion, is let's have an opinion on everything else. I can't say that I disagree with people who use social media, because everyone has the right to do so. I just don't feel like social media is the platform to be doing that type of stuff. If you see what I mean, there's a major difference.
Yeah, but also social media is run by the internet as well, so that's another difference.
Yeah.
But also I find social media I find is quite helpful because I end up in like a lot of groups, a lot of help groups. And also I'm a part of a lot of communities to do with chronic illnesses and that. So for me, social media has helped me, and it helps keep me in the loop with everybody else, because I don't get out a lot because of my chronic illnesses. So for me, I do use social media, and obviously that's run by the internet, and obviously the internet is important in this house.
We find it. That's really important, actually, Sandra, because we find it really mesmerising, don't we, new technology. So, pure example today, I do this email on a Friday and send it all out to you. You've got a whole weekend and a day to read it. But I chose the topic of 5G, and then, because I happened to be in town this afternoon, went into the phone shop to upgrade my phone. And I had in my head, because I was paying £40 a month, I had in my head, I just want a bit of an upgrade and this, that and the other. But the person behind the counter convinced me, even though I knew in my head what I wanted and what I wanted out of a mobile phone, convinced me to buy 5G, convinced me to buy the latest tech. This will happen. And I ended up I'm thankful, don't get me wrong, because I've got 5G now. So when 5G finally hits Lincolnshire big time, I'm already up and running on it. But we're just taken over, aren't we? We're mesmerised and we're drawn in so quick when it comes to technology. Yeah. Right, okay.
Take me a week to find my contacts in that, but I feel the same, because when I scroll through if I say to my phone, oh, I want to Karen so and so, I want to ring her, she's never there. She's disappeared, and I'm looking for her all over the place, and then suddenly she'll just pop up, and I thought, you weren't there a minute ago. You can never find what you're looking for. It knows. Playing with me.
Love it. Guys, we are going to move on. That is our final topic of this evening, really, because we have a special guest with us this evening. We have Miss Lincolnshire herself. She's coming to join us to talk about her whole experience of being Miss Lincolnshire in the year of 2021. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello. It's lovely to see you. At last, I can finally take mine off because yours looks so much better.
Oh, dig in, Dave. I said earlier it was digging in.
I hate it. Honestly. And can you believe that was £4?
Wow.
When I was a kid, that was a quid. You could buy that for a quid.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous. Jay, I've got to say yours must have cost like 10p.
Mate.
Right.
Don't take the mick out of my hat, buddy. It's cold down here.
Rachel, it's lovely to meet you, and we are dying to know a little bit more about you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, Rebecca?
Yeah, so I'm from Skegness in Lincolnshire. I'm an extensionist. I'm 24, and I just won Miss Lincolnshire. It was a virtual contest, days, but it was really fun. Did you find the whole? Was that your first pageant? Was that your first official pageant? No. So my first pageant was Miss Nottinghamshire when I was at university in 2018. So it was quite different to that, obviously. I had to submit videos instead of doing them live on stage. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty similar. But obviously, it's the new world we're living in.
Did you feel it was a bit of a letdown doing it virtually this year?
It was definitely different. I probably would have liked it to be a live event, but better to be safe than sorry, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I've got to say though, you do look beautiful. You do look beautiful. Rachel, I think you've got our second question.
Yes. How did you become interested in pageants?
So my grandma, she kept showing me the newspaper article for Miss Nottinghamshire. She was like, "Oh, you'd be really good at this." All grandmas are like that though, so I thought it was a bit of or is it just what my grandma thinks? Is everyone gonna think I did it?
Well, no, you must have had she must have had a good idea that you'd get somewhere, I think.
Yeah, so that's why I entered Miss Nottinghamshire. Obviously I was at that time, but I've tried again and here I am.
Exactly. Jay, go.
Yeah. So I don't really know an awful lot about pageants and pageantry, I believe the word for it is. But what does it actually mean to be Miss Lincolnshire? What does it entail?
So it's all about being a positive role model and spreading awareness for, particularly at the minute, businesses, local businesses, charities in the area. I've started working with WhatsApp, which are use plastic, and it's all about keeping the Lincolnshire coast clean. And I really want to help stop plastic pollution. So it's all about just being that positive role model within the community.
Very good.
Is it quite? It must be quite scary though. It must be quite a scary experience to put yourself out there. And honestly, have you ever had, especially now? See, I'm going off questions now, but especially now being Miss Lincolnshire herself, have you had bad press as well as good, or has it all been good press?
The press has all been good, but social media is quite a toxic place sometimes. The comments from people who've seen the articles and read them have been can be quite harsh.
How do you deal with that, Rebecca? Does it massively affect you, or have you grown a thick skin to let it fly over you?
At first, it shocked me a little bit. Like, why could anyone be that horrible to someone they've never met? But I just think it's more of a reflection on them and their life than it is on me and what I'm doing. Because how unhappy with yourself do you have to be to then slate someone else on the internet?
It's just sad, isn't it? I just find it. The nicest possible word to give them is morons. I think there's so many morons. And that's the nicest way I can put it, really. And I just think that actually, if you can just sit behind a screen and type nasty things.
The term keyboard warrior comes to mind.
Yeah, and it's just, I just think, we do stuff like this to encourage people, to empower people, and to give people a voice. And part of Loose Linc is to give people a voice. We are very much based on the TV programme, the well-known TV programme Loose Women, but we are. Somebody asked me the other day about what's the difference between Loose Women and Loose Lincs, and Loose Women is based on well-known celebrities that have already had a life and career in television and an opinion taking and in interviews and stuff like that. We haven't had that experience. We are just everyday.
And also Loose Women is also based on national news, not local.
Yeah, exactly. I've lost it now. Hold on. So, Jay, you asked that. Sam, your question.
What is Miss Lincolnshire all about? What are the judges looking for when you're doing these pageants?
Yes, so there's several different rounds. I did a talent round, a catwalk. There's a charity round, so who can raise as much money for charity and awareness for charity. There's a publicity round where you have to raise publicity for yourself, so that you can be a good role model.
And is there a pressure that comes with that, though?
Yeah, a little bit of pressure, but it's a good challenge, I find. I've really challenged myself this past year, and I've grown so much in confidence.
And have you had what was your hometown? Because Rebecca comes from Skegness. What was your hometown's reaction when you became Miss Lincolnshire?
Oh, it was really lovely. I had a nice little the Skegness Standard, which was really nice. Really local news, and I got to have my photo taken in front of the clock tower, and it was really positive.
Oh, fantastic. So that was, who's next? Okay. What is the next stage, Rebecca? What are we going for next? Are we just happy at Miss Lincolnshire and that's as far as we're going, or is there bigger and better plans going forward?
So I've won my place in the Miss England final now, so I get to go and represent Lincolnshire in the Miss England final, which is on the 24th of June. And after that, if I win Miss England, I get to go on to Miss World in Puerto Rico, which is incredible.
Oh my word! Can you just make sure that you send Loose Linc tickets, please?
Can I just ask a question? I don't want to
catch those, so go ahead, Rachel.
I don't want to sound rude, but I'm sure you've got loads of talents. But when you said you had certain stages, what talent did you show? What did you do?
This was a little bit hard to get my talent this year. Obviously, I had to do it self-isolated because everyone was in lockdown. So I did a theatre arts course. So I sort of read poems, did spoken word for my talent video.
Oh wow!
Do you think pageants like this? See, we are. This is the beauty of Loose Linc, as I said before. You come up with 10,000 other questions in your head. Do you think pageants within itself? Because women are a lot more heard, which is fantastic in the year of 2021. We're coming at finally equal. Do you think pageants are still important for empowering women?
Oh, definitely. Like I said, I've grown so much in confidence. There's no way I'd be here speaking to you if I'd not done pageantry. It gave me that life skill, helped me with job interviews and everything. So empowering to be with lots of women who are really, really talented, compassionate, friendly, being not bitchy as you would expect.
Yeah. And have you made lifelong friends?
Yes, I made loads of friends, which is great.
Fantastic. Are you a fan of Loose Linc?
I am.
That's even better. And I didn't pay her to say that. Rachel, I think it's your question. No, it isn't.
Well, I was going to say, do you think you've kind of answered it, but do you think it's outdated, or has it evolved a lot more to promote women rather than the beauty aspect? Although you are beautiful, and that's obvious, but you're a lot more than that, aren't you? So it's not.
Good question.
You think?
Definitely evolved so much.
Oh, Rebecca, we're losing connection. We can't hear you.
Oh.
So can you just repeat that again? Can you repeat that again?
So the pageant has changed so much. It used to just be parading around in a swimsuit on stage in front of a whole lot of male judges, but the swimsuit round is now optional, and it's only if you feel comfortable and confident enough to show your body, and it's developed so much into sort of I can't think of the word, but amazing community to empower women instead of objectify them.
Yeah, definitely. So what happens if you win Miss England?
I then become a role model for the whole of England. I then get to help the Miss England organisation to publish and help them with the charity work. So charities, Beauty with a Purpose, they'll be helping raise money for those.
Do you what have you done since becoming Miss England? Miss Lincolnshire, sorry. I'm already crowning you. What have you done since becoming Miss Lincolnshire?
Yeah, so I've started collecting old glasses from people in the community, recycling those, and just getting them out to people who are perhaps in poverty and can't afford new glasses, or sending them off to third world countries. They need operations like cataract things. That's what I've been doing.
Rachel, you're the next question.
Me? Sorry, I've lost that then. I was too interested.
Do you think beauty pageants are becoming outdated?
I did ask it. It was outdated, but like it evolved. I asked it in a little bit of a different way, didn't I? Sorry, I confused you all. Yeah, I did.
But all on the spot. But do you think there's still going to be a pageants in the year of 2030?
Oh yes, definitely. I think it's hard in the grand scheme of things. They're constantly developing. There's now a Mr. England as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go, Nick. Off you go.
I'm already there.
You're already crowned. Mr. England.
I'm already there.
Please,
Jay.
please do it.
Jay,
Yeah, he's got to do it, hasn't he, Jay?
Please,
what was your next question, Jay?
How has winning Miss Lincolnshire? How's it affected your life? Like, have you been noticed out and about yet?
We're not at that quite stage yet. No, I'm not.
You're famous.
Online presence. Not changed my life too much. I already did charity work anyway, so it sort of gives me a platform to develop that more, but like magnified my life as it was. So.
How many contestants were in the final?
There was 8.
So it's a final quite a challenge then.
It was, yeah, because there was lots of there was professional golf, professional models. There was a whole range of women there, and it's hard to stand out, but do what they're just looking for on that day, and you have to just try and impress them.
Can I just ask? I don't know. People my age would remember this film. Is it anything like Miss Congeniality? Because
I was going to say that.
Love that film, Miss Congeniality. It was brilliant.
Was no woman, though, was she?
Rachel, please, Rebecca, please don't say that you had a gun down your dress or anything. You didn't have to go that
Sandra
far.
Bullock. She's the Lincolnshire's Sandra Bullock. Oh dear.
Well, Rebecca, we've lost you again. Just repeat what you said. Sorry, technology's not working in our favour tonight.
No, saying that I did watch Miss Congeniality just before I was just before the final. I do.
Did you? Oh, I love the film Miss Congeniality.
I love it. I've watched both films. And I love both films.
But only because of the men in it.
I've never seen it.
Example
Really?
of the film, really.
To-do list, Jay.
It's more of a comedy, but it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It is funny. Sam, what was your question?
What would you say to people who are thinking about entering pageants? Would you say, would you say it's a good thing to do?
Yeah, definitely. It gives you so much opportunity. It gets the face out there. Lots of people have got plenty of jobs off the back of it, so it does open you up to a whole new audience, I suppose. And like I said, I've grown so much in confidence. Before I entered pageants, there's no way I'd be stood as myself talking to you guys and the audience as well.
We briefly, Rebecca, talked about mental health this evening, which is very, very important. If people were thinking about joining a pageant or maybe even considering it, what would you say to people what would you say, how would you prepare somebody to be mentally prepared for a pageant?
So that's quite a tough question, actually. But so I've struggled with mental health in the past, depression and anxiety, and it has given me a voice to speak out. Obviously, we do talk about it, not going away anytime soon, but it's sort of given me that opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah. Do you think anybody could enter a pageant? I think that's what I'm trying to say. Do you think anybody's got that chance to go for it?
Yeah, of course. If you're a nice person, but you know yourself and you're confident in yourself, fine.
That's what we're doing, Sam, next year.
Well, I've got my crown already, so that's fine.
I must say, Rachel, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh, where's that button again?
Yeah.
Where's that? I found the button to take my camera off. Dependable.
Rachel, you're our final question of this evening.
Yes, Rebecca. If you were to ask people to help you, encourage you, what kind of support would you ask for Lincolnshire people to be behind you, to give you that bit more oomph, as it were, to give you the courage and the extra confidence to do what you're doing?
So there is a Miss England app, and it's got all the updates there of when the final's going to be, when the different rounds go live, and there's going to be a public vote on there as well. So I'd just say, if you want to support me on my journey, I'd absolutely really appreciate it. But you download that app and you'll be able to see the notification when the vote goes. Support me out.
So when is it? When is the competition?
Yeah, so it's the 24th of June this year.
Oh, right.
So not long now.
Quite soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll all be there.
We'll all be there.
Rebecca, thank you so much for coming. It's been a privilege to have you on our show this evening. Thank you very, very much for stepping forward and coming on. And can we just congratulate Miss Lincolnshire of 2021 one more time? Congratulations, Rebecca. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. It's finally time to lay down the crown. Well, for some of us have got to live it every single day, haven't we, Rebecca? But the beauty parlour of 2021 of Loose Linc our winner is, of course, it's Rebecca. Who else could it be? Thank you for joining us this week on Loose Links. Can you thank my panel for this evening? The man isn't shy to ask any questions. That's Jay O'Connor. Rachel is always there to step forward.
Bye.
Sam has been our shining light of this evening. That's Sam Hitwell. And the best signer in Lincolnshire, that's Darren Holt. Make sure you join us next week for a lot more conversation, a lot more chat. Thank you for spending your evening with us this evening. Good night. God bless. I will see you all in next year's parlour. Goodbye.
Hurrah.